What's up, guys, and welcome back to Virtual Reality Beyond the Headset. In today's episode, I'm going to be doing an actual video going over some apps on VR and some quick settings. Before we get started, just wanted to say that the audio on here kind of got corrupt when downloading this video. Not sure quite what happened, but yeah, so I'm going to be doing a voiceover. First off, I'm kind of going to be showing the library area where you have all your apps. Kind of went through some of them in previous episodes and different blogs, to kind of like the meditation app, the MLB app, which was where you can watch MLB games. That's in the entertainment section. They used to have Netflix on there, but now it's actually gone. They took it off of VR. But yeah, so we also have my little character off to the side here. Don't really care. It kind of looks like crap, but it's not really used too much in a lot of games. But yeah, so that's me there. And then you have the app library, and then you kind of have... sorry, I'm not sure exactly how I did this video. It's kind of hard doing a voiceover, but kind of have the whole library here, and I have my whole environment area. You can change your environment, but yeah, the one I choose is like a little paradise area. But yeah, so you have all the apps there, and then you have a little like feed over there where you can see more games that you can purchase. But then there's an actual library that you can go to, that you can purchase games from. There's free games, but the better games and the better quality games are going to be obviously going to cost some money. Like Beat Saber that I bought was about $10, and then the Thrill of the Fight game that I have was about $10, maybe $15 as well. But yeah, so more of the better games are going to cost some money. So if you have the money to purchase some games, I highly recommend it. You'll have a lot of fun doing so. But yeah, so the first game that I'm going to be going to is Beat Saber. So yeah, we're going to go there and kind of give some basics of how to play. So first, it starts off with a little warning screen about, flashing lights and stuff like that, for people who might be sensitive to that kind of stuff. A lot of games have to do that, but you kind of just continue, and it'll take you into the game where you have different game modes that you can play, including solo mode, which is where you play by yourself. You have online mode, which is where you can play against other people, and you have campaign and party, where you can play with friends and compete against each other. But yeah, so we're gonna go to solo, and there's a bunch of different music packs that you have. Some of them were free that come with the game, and there's others that you can purchase. The free ones that come with it aren't really good. They're kind of crappy quality games, or not games, crappy quality, songs, not really good. But you have other ones, like Panic at the Disco, Queen, Lizzo. But the ones I've purchased that I have from a while ago are Billie Eilish, Imagine Dragons, and a couple other. But I'm going to start off by just choosing a random song from Imagine Dragons, and kind of just showing the basics of how to play Beat Saber and kind of how it works. You won't be able to hear any audio, unfortunately, because of it kind of getting corrupt while downloading it. But I'm going to choose one of the songs here and kind of just go through how to play. So once you choose a song to do, it'll take you into here, where it's kind of like that one guitar game that people used to play with the buttons and stuff on it. But basically, you have these two lightsabers where you're pretty much slicing these cubes that go by on beat with the song. And they have different like arrows on it, depending on which way you're supposed to slice in order to actually get credit for it. I'm not the best at this game, and I didn't really have a ton of area to actually move around. But the more space you have, the more free range you have to, do games kind of like this. But off to the left, you can see the combo stuff, which is where the more correct like hits that you get, the more points you get. But as you see, I missed there, so it resets my combo and you get less points, but you can build up. But yeah, so playing this is really fun, and it kind of gets you into the song more. And yeah, so go through here, and that barrier there is some obstacles that you kind of have to get around. If you go through it, it'll reset your combo. But yeah, you can do different levels. You have easy, medium, hard, and expert plus. That was expert. Gets faster and more blocks come in the higher expertise level that you go. But yeah, so you kind of just try and get the best grade that you can. I'm not going to go through the whole thing just because it'll take a little bit. But yeah, so that is Beat Saber, and yeah, we're going to go to a different app now. So the next game I'm going to go to now is Thrill of the Fight 2. I have both the original and the second one. In the first one, you can only play against computer players, also known as CPU. But in Thrill of the Fight 2, you can play against actual people. But yeah, so some games you gotta, there's gonna be updates, obviously. Some take longer than others. This one was pretty quick. Kind of gonna skip through this so you don't have to watch this. But yeah, so some apps are gonna have updates sometimes to kind of fix with bugs. And, if there's updates in the actual game, you'll have to update it. But yeah, so we're gonna skip through it and go right into the game and give a little bit of a tutorial. All right, so now that we're actually in the game here, this is the little loading screen here, and you press to start and accept the contract thing. First, it kind of gives you a little calibration thing to set your height, so that when you actually play, it's calculated right. So you look forward and it checks your height. You can also do your arms, but since I've already been through this, it already has my arm length in there. But yeah, so you have different modes. You have ranked games, you have custom matches, your settings, calibration, and training. I'm not going to go through an actual ranked game just for the sake of time, but I'm going to go through some training to kind of just show how the technicality of this game works. So once we get into there, which I'm about to do, but actually you can go through the settings and change some stuff. But yeah, so I'm going to go into some training here. And so in this training, you have a punching bag, or not a punching bag, you have a dummy that you kind of practice punching with. You have the damage and the velocity off to the side. The lighter punches that you throw are going to do less damage, but more critical hits will do more damage, obviously. So if I were to swing like that, it kind of gives me a little more damage. And right there, you can see I almost hit 39. But yeah, you also have some, like I said, critical points on the dummy. And doing actual combos also helps. So like if you did like a left punch, then a right hook, kind of does better damage. Doesn't matter the velocity sometimes. But yeah, so if I were to hit right into the rib cage there, it does a lot more damage, 39 almost there. But yeah, like I said, you can do combos where you kind of throw up one punch and then do another. But yeah, if you do light punches like this, it's not really going to do much. And in the actual game, the more damage you do and the more amount of times you do that, you'll wear the other player and eventually you can knock them out. But yeah, so that was Thrill of the Fight. And now I'm going to go on to a different game. Now I'm going to be going on to the MLB app where you can watch actual MLB games, but obviously right now it's the off season, so no games to watch, but there's a whole like home menu where you can watch different videos. But if you were to actually watch a game during the actual season, you would be in an actual field in the like umpire position, and you'll be able to see the actual field with like different player icons depending on the position that the player's at, and you can see the pitches coming in at real time. So you'll be able to see like the ball coming in, and you can see the different types of pitches that are coming in and be behind the strike zone. So it can kind of help you like be an umpire if you wanted to. You can kind of make your own judgment calls. But yeah, so there's some videos and like short films that you can watch. But yeah, so during the actual season, you can be on the field and it'll have like a TV screen above you where you can actually see the live broadcast as well as actually being on that field, like I just said. But yeah, so right now there's not really much to show on the MLB app. But you're kind of in this like MLB network area, which is pretty cool. But yeah, so that's the MLB app. And now I'm going to be going to a game that I enjoyed playing a lot. when I first started playing VR, which is table tennis, ping pong. And in this game, it's pretty self explanatory. You play ping pong. But yeah. So once you get into here, you have a bunch of different stuff that you can do, including an AI that you can play against and kind of practice. As you can see here, kind of just tossing around a little bit. But you can play against actual people, just like in some other games. And there's like ranked game modes where more games you win, better you do, higher score you get, and you play against people on your own level. Or you can play by yourself. But I'm going to show a little bit of just, playing against the AI here. So I'll include a little clip of me just, kind of just messing around with it.
0, 1, 2, 3. Let's get started.
Oh, that's real good. You've got to get a hold of yourself.
Ain't nobody stopping me.
All right, now that we're done with that, I'm going to be going on to one more game that I used to play all the time. Thought it was very fun. It's called The Climb, which is basically a rock climbing game that you can play. Yeah. So once you load in, you have a few different options to choose from, including training, and you have like the bay, the canyon, the Alps, all sorts of different stuff, some practice. But yeah, so you can go into wherever you want. I'm going to choose the canyon and go through a quick one real quick. Basically, in this game, you kind of just climb around and you're trying to get through a course, depending on where you are. So for the canyon area, you're kind of climbing around a huge canyon, basically. So this is what it looks like when you start. You got your hands and you got a nice view all around. May not look super like maybe realistic on video, but when you actually have the headset on, very much really looks like you're actually there. And it does look very far down when you look down. But yeah, so you have your hands there, and basically what you try and do is climb around on these rocks that you have to grab on. And you can tell the rocks that you have to grab on because they have like this white line on it. But also your hands can lose strength. You can see that thing around my wrist, and I just fell down there. Basically, if you're holding on with one hand, you'll eventually lose stamina and fall. But your goal is to climb around, and like I said, you have the little white lines along the edges of the rocks to know where you're kind of climbing around to. So yeah, you kind of climb around, and once you get up to here, where I just got to right there, that's a checkpoint, and there's a bunch of checkpoints as you go around. But yeah, so you keep climbing around, you make your way all the way through, you got to go all the way up. Right there, I'm pretty sure I just hit my ceiling fan. That wasn't fun. But yeah, you kind of just go around, and yeah, so I'm not going to go through the whole thing. Obviously, it'll take way too long. A lot of the courses can actually take a while. One of them took me maybe about an hour, but right here I kind of show you what it looks like to fall down, and you kind of fall and plummet to your death, but you kind of go back to the checkpoint that you were at, and you can pick right back up where you were and keep climbing around. So to wrap things up, I'm kind of just going to show a couple of quick settings. As you can see there, you have the pass-through, Wi-Fi, and a bunch of different stuff. So for the pass-through boundary area, right now you can't see anything, it's black. But on my end, it's kind of like a pass-through area where you can see through the VR. You can actually see where you are in the real world in black and white. And you can create your own boundary. So you set the floor level, and then you can draw basically all around where like the space that you have. So the more room that you have, the more versatile and more, actions you can do. Kind of like if you had a bigger area, you wouldn't be hitting the ceiling fan like I did. But yeah, so then you have some other stuff like the Wi-Fi, Bluetooth, and other stuff. But yeah, so that's pretty much it. Don't really have much more else to go over. I hope you guys enjoyed this video. This is probably going to be it for me. No more podcasts or anything. So I hope you guys enjoyed, and yeah, thank you for watching. And if you enjoyed this, be sure to check out my website, which is basically where you're watching this from. But there's a lot of different blogs and a couple other podcasts that I have posted. So make sure to check them out if you haven't already. And yeah, thanks for spending some time with me to kind of go over an introduction of how to play VR. Yeah, so until then, see you guys.